outside. Yeah, they got a podcast, but it's outside. Going in.
Hello, and welcome to the podcast outside.
Can you do a Boston accent?
Okay.
Well, we have a very specific idea that you might like. But first of all, thanks for your patience. You were waiting for a little bit. What's your name?
I'm Max.
Max. Do you work at the Lampoon?
No.
Okay, because there's some Lampoon people over there. So can I tell you this idea that we had?
Sure.
Boston Powers.
Okay.
So,
So
can you
do
tell us
have
what
any
that would be
ideas of what that might be like?
What he would sound like?
So he'd be from Boston.
Yes.
And he would have a ridiculous Boston accent.
Yes,
Yes,
but maybe
but like-
also a British accent. We're trying to figure
Yeah,
that
I
out.
don't know.
But like he definitely is into like Shagadelic and Randy Baby and stuff like that.
Yeah. Do I make you horny?
Horny Baby,
Something
but like
that,
Boston style.
So it'd be like, Honey.
Yeah,
Do I
that's
make
good.
you
That's good.
honey?
That's a good idea.
Honey.
All right.
Oh, I like that.
So, all right.
It's like, we choose to go to the moon,
Yeah.
not because it is horny,
Yeah.
but because something like that.
Because
like,
it's Shagadelic.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
Hey, that's pretty good, Max.
So, Max, are you a student here?
Yeah.
Okay. What year are you?
I'm a junior.
Junior.
Oh.
Okay. How do you like it?
It's good. I like
Have
it.
you been here all 3 years?
Well, I wasn't here. I mean, I was in the area last year, but I wasn't living on campus.
COVID-wise. Did you pay
okay.
money to do it online?
Mhm.
Was that a scam or what?
It's all kind of a scam. I mean,
All of it.
the whole thing's a scam.
The whole thing. All right.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Somerville, actually.
Oh, we had a live
Somerville.
show there last night. And what are you studying?
I study computer science.
Okay.
What do you want to do with that?
AI stuff, probably.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Try
I think the like risks of AI, both present term and like as it gets smarter and smarter, are like very real and very scary and like
Sure.
a pretty significant risk.
So you're
But,
trying
like,
to take AI down.
I'm trying to guide it,
Guide it.
like a sheepdog.
Sheepdog.
Yeah.
Well, could you build like an AI that's like a little smarter in a different way and able to take the other AI down?
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
What are the ways in which you think AI is going to like negatively impact society in the next near future?
I mean, as a lot of people say, like I take the automation stuff very seriously. So
of course.
Like given that truck driver is the most common job in like literally most American
I
states,
heard that,
like
yeah.
29 states or something like
Right.
that. When those jobs start going and like the other driving jobs, I mean that's just like a lot of people out of a job.
Yes,
it's like
yes.
and like around here, I think there's a tendency to underestimate the number of people who have truck driving jobs and other like driving jobs in general because like most of those people are from other parts of the country.
Hmm.
But I mean, I think like when you look at the numbers, it actually is like kind of a crap ton of people.
Yeah.
It's like 1 in every 100 or 150 Americans or something is like employed as a truck driver.
Wow. Yeah, that's tough. So that's one. What's another way?
Right now, there's a lot of well-deserved attention being paid to the biases that are in a lot of the AI systems that people are using for a variety of tasks. Basically, so, one thing that AI is used for a lot is like recognizing faces for whatever reason. So, whether it's just like putting a box around a person's face in a photograph in Google Photos, or whether it's being used for like security or even sometimes it'll be used for like identifying criminals and stuff based on video feed. Those systems are often trained with like really biased data sets that make them perform way worse on people who aren't white men.
Sure.
Because like the hard thing is to train one of these systems, you have to have a ton of data, a ton of photographs.
Sure.
And they all have to be like labeled with who the person is. And so that's kind of hard to make. And so one way that people have made that is to just basically scrape like news articles. And what happens when you do that is like the database that they were using for this sort of stuff for a while had more pictures of George Bush in it than it had all black women.
Oh my
Whoa.
God.
Yeah. Because there were just so many photos of him in the news,
Sure,
in the
sure.
early 2000s
Oh, wow.
when they were collecting this.
Interesting.
And so like, there have been people who have been misidentified by these systems as a result of that.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
man, there's a lot of black women in America who people think the AI thinks is George
George
Bush.
Bush.
Because
Yeah.
that's going to happen to you because they're just looking
Yeah.
at so much George Bush that they
Yeah.
think everyone is, I've seen that misattributed a lot.
Yeah.
So, I was in school a long time ago, I'm a bit older, but like I feel like technology has changed so much in the last like even 10 years that like are the classes like very up to date with all this stuff, or are they a bit behind?
At MIT, they're up to date.
Okay, but here they're
around
not?
here, not so much. No.
Because I know academia moves a bit slow with
Yeah,
like
you got some-
textbooks and
there you
leaves.
go.
I like it
Yeah.
like that. I know that academia moves a bit slow, so is it just kind of like behind the curve on all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think it varies place to place. Like, I think Harvard has always been kind of particularly bad in terms of being behind on things.
Interesting.
Like, we were one of the later schools to have a computer science department at all. Back 40 years ago or so, when they were thinking about doing this, most people who were interested in computers and computer science were majoring in applied math, is what the major was called. And they were thinking about, should we spin off a CS major? And one of the lines that is retold is that one of the professors at the time goes, computer science, you can't have a discipline named after a man-made object. Next thing, we're going to have a major in refrigerator science. And so that's that sort of attitude of
Right. Were you waiting as well? Were you waiting? Well, why don't you talk with Max, then you guys want to be next? Or you can leave, whatever. Okay, come on. You join Max. Join Max.
Come on.
Thank you.
Hi,
Hey,
I'm CJ.
CJ, how are you?
CJ, hello.
CJ, what are you all about?
I'm a student here.
What-
I was eating lunch and I saw you guys over there and I was like, I need to stop by.
Oh, what year are you?
I'm a junior.
Oh, same with him.
Oh,
Same with
damn.
Max.
Oh, nice.
What's your major?
I study religion.
Oh, I
Ooh.
studied religion in college.
Yeah, where?
At Reed College
Oh,
in Portland, Oregon.
cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I didn't do anything with my degree. I do this now.
Yeah,
But it was cool.
as one does.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as one does.
Yeah.
But now you two can talk about religion. So.
I know. I'm so Christian. What about you?
Um,
I'm kidding.
well, it's I don't know. I mean, it's pretty academic.
no, mine was as well. I'm
focused,
been
right?
atheist my whole life. Same thing.
Yeah.
What do you hope to do with the degree? What do you want to do with your life?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Probably not use my degree, and that's fine. I don't care.
What,
And-
do you have any dreams or goals that you want to do?
Guess not.
Okay.
Huh. You kind of got into Harvard. That was your goal, and then after that, you're like, who cares?
No, I mean I don't know.
Huh.
There
There are options.
are options.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe continue doing this and go into academia.
Uh.
Maybe not do that.
Are you afraid of AI?
Not really.
He is.
It's true.
Yeah.
I'm
I studied
sure
computer
he's
science.
terrified.
And I'm afraid of AI.
I'm sure that's a real fear. It's just
Not for CJ.
Yeah, it's not something I can work on.
What
So,
are you afraid of, CJ?
What am I afraid of?
Yeah.
The world ending in my lifetime, which could be from AI.
I think AI.
or from climate change.
I think AI is the most
Maybe
likely
both.
thing to cause the extinction of humanity. In
You
our
don't
lifetime.
think it's climate change?
I
Why
don't
not?
think climate change is likely to cause the extinction of humanity.
Why is
Okay, I'd like
that?
you to convince him that AI will cause the extinction of humanity. Okay, I'd like you to convince him that AI will cause the extinction of humanity.
Okay, well, let me start with climate change, which I think is a terrible, giant problem that we should be dedicating a ton more energy and money to. I mean, I think things getting a little hotter will probably cause millions, maybe billions of people to suffer and die, but I think it's less likely than AI to cause extinction of the species. I just can't, what is the path by which it could cause extinction? Every person dying. That's what I'm curious about.
climate change?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm an expert on nothing, right?
Okay.
I just kind of for the record, one of the concerns I suppose is just that it's the same thing with AI, right? I guess people who actually have the power to make changes and fix things aren't and probably will not.
Yeah.
But with AI though, it's how is AI going to cause the extinction, right? Maybe climate change, sure, we're probably a long way away from them causing the extinction of people.
I think Max might teach us right now.
But I'm curious about AI. Yeah.
Well, so the risk that we have ahead of us, and obviously nobody knows what will happen in the future. It's the future, right? But we have to try and estimate what is a larger risk and what is a smaller risk, and how bad are these things that happening, and that helps guide us on what sort of risks we should mitigate more and less. And so so I think that there is a chance that artificial intelligence it could get smarter and smarter, basically, and we could develop it, make it better and better until it is as smart on most tasks, or at least on pushing forward science and technology as humans are. And that's I think creating a human level AI is not doesn't feel out of the question as a thing that we could do this century. I mean, that has been the goal of AI as long as the field has existed. That is in our science fiction. We have a proof that generating a human level intelligence is possible because evolution did it. And in the past, we've been able to make things that evolution made a lot faster than evolution was able to do it. See airplanes. So
Sea airplanes, on the ocean.
CEE,
Oh.
SEE. So
I like CE though. I like CE.
yeah. So the argument is that a human level AI is possible, and seems to be the direction that things are moving, and that's the perspective that a lot of people in the field have. And then the risk is, why did human level intelligence stop where it did? Well, kind of because if our heads had gotten any bigger, we wouldn't have been able to fit them out of the birth canal. So like there was just a natural limit imposed on our intelligence where like, it stopped being practical and useful to make us smarter and smarter and smarter. Whereas like, with an intelligence running on a computer, it seems likely that it could scale up its power a lot easier. You just run it on more computer power. You just run it on better computer power. It's like once you have it running at human level, it becomes much easier to scale up its intelligence and then to improve its intelligence further. So the risk is that like basically human level intelligence is not at all like a necessary, like obvious stopping place for the progress of AI. And that it'll get faster, and it'll continue to get intelligence after it reaches the point of human level, which I think most people feel is like certainly possible.
But then why would it destroy humanity?
Right, exactly. So like the slightly weaker claim is that it's scary to think that the smartest thing on the planet, maybe by a lot, maybe it'll be way smarter than us, will not be a human. Like the first thing is, how much do we really want, the steering wheel of history to be driven by some entity that is not a human being and can, outthink us at every step? And so there's a famous AI researcher who wrote like the canonical book on AI, whose name is Stuart Russell. And the metaphor that he uses is like, basically if AI gets much smarter than us, it will be to us as we are to gorillas. We're like, we seem to be much stronger than it. There's a lot more of us, and like we have all these weapons and machinery and things, but I'm always
trying to make them extinct. So I get it.
Yeah. Or it's more like we don't really care. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
sure.
Like the fate of gorillas now just depends on us because we're the smartest thing on the planet. And like if we decide like, we want to build something where the gorillas live, then like, the gorillas are gone now. And so it's more the idea that like once it gets smarter than us, it becomes very hard for us to stop, and like our fate is kind of in its hands. And there's a lot of goals that we might endow an AI with that would cause it to disregard or like treat us poorly, like we do with gorillas.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see that.
Are you fucking terrified, CJ?
No.
He has God on his side.
One
He's in religion.
One thing that doesn't actually matter, but just for the people watching, I feel like it should be made a note. So I also kind of study evolution, right? So it's like there isn't necessarily a cap on human intelligence, right? Or I don't it is a theory, right, that our brains didn't get bigger because it wouldn't fit through the birth canal or whatever. But brain size also isn't directly correlated with intelligence, one, and two, our brains have actually gotten kind of smaller in the past 5,000, 10,000 years, and we, at least hope we're smarter than we were 5,000 years ago.
Fair enough. Point taken. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, not that it actually matters.
Nice old Harvard debate here.
But then the other thing though is if the people making AI are so concerned about AI getting to human level intelligence and taking us over, then stop. Right? Literally just stop.
Capitalism.
Nobody is saying you need to keep on making AI, and you shouldn't make AI to the point of this AI is going to be so smart it can make itself smarter or whatever, right? Just don't do it.
Yeah, but that's why we're dumb, because we are doing it.
And that's the thing though, it's these are the same people who always like to look back at history and sort of, but it's don't make the same mistakes, right? You know what's happened in the past, you know that that's a thing humans do, right?
We need to make an AI that's smart enough to not do that.
Yeah.
That's
a very moral
yes,
AI.
A very smart AI that would never make an AI that would be smarter than itself.
I think the thing about making an AI that is so moral and so saintly that it wouldn't make itself smarter because it knows it would destroy us is just so out of the question, because humans can't even conceive of something that moral. We are not.
I think the most moral AI would kill everyone and just put us all out of our misery.
That's
as
funny.
A gesture of kindness.
There's no more suffering of elephants because there's no more elephants. Yeah.
Exactly.
So is the idea that the reason why, what he's saying is that the reason why it's going to happen anyways, just because of capitalism and whoever gets there first makes a lot of money?
That's kind of, I think that's a big part of it. I think the risk is enormous, but I think there are also really substantial benefits that could come with having, like you said, something that would be both super intelligent but also helpful for us as a species.
Are you a freak for Tristan Harris? You like him?
I don't know much about. I heard him on a podcast, and I respected what he had to say there, but I don't know much about him.
Who is that again?
He's like the guy who used to work at Google and like
Yeah.
Facebook and stuff.
Oh, and he quit and
he
came out
quit
about
and
it.
talked about all
He's
that. He talks about AI
social
a lot.
dilemma
yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Did you hear him on podcast?
No, I heard him on the podcast.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, which I highly recommend.
Cool. Well, we'll bleep that out because they're our competition.
Okay.
But do you guys have any final thoughts or words of wisdom you want to leave our audience with? You're both amazing guests. We appreciate Max and CJ.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank
Thank you.
Do you have any final thoughts, CJ?
To the people watching, read books and be intentional about the books you read and fact check the books you read, because the secret they don't tell you is a lot of our Harvard professors write books that have really controversial stuff in them that is not like peer reviewed.
Whoa.
And they're trying to brainwash you.
Ooh.
Wait, Harvard's
Which
trying
is
to
actually
brainwash
not a
you?
hot take. Like I'm not crazy. Like that's a real thing. Like they really like they write like popular books for like popular audiences that like are not at like the rigorous level of like a peer reviewed journal article is, right? And so like they get away with like putting things in there that like they wouldn't necessarily instruct us.
Because they're Harvard, they get like a pass, kind of?
Kind of like people will buy your books if you're a Harvard professor,
Yeah.
and like you
Whoa.
know I don't want to like name names, right? That's like, but like a lot of these books that are written for popular audiences, like not only is the language adapted to the level of like a general public, it's also like literally like the claims that they are making are not as proven.
Whoa.
Interesting.
At least as they kind of make it sound like it is, right? Like they
Go off.
So just listen to them, but like fact check them.
Yeah.
Never read a book
Trust,
written by anyone who
trust
went to
but
Harvard.
verify.
Yeah.
Trust but verify.
Trust but verify.
Yeah.
Because most of the time they're correct.
Okay.
But they might
sometimes
not be.
Okay.
All right.
Here's $1 and a sticker for you. And Max, anything from you?
Yeah, I want to second that. I think that's a great final word, CJ.
Cool.
I would also say my book recommendation is The Precipice by Toby Ord,
Wow.
about what the biggest risks to us as a species are in the next
That's
100 years.
great. I appreciate that
He-
recommendation,
yeah, good
truly.
rec.
He says 1 in 6 chance of extinction in the next 100 years.
Oh wow.
I'll
So-
take them odds.
Yeah, and 1 in 10 from AI. So.
I'd bet on that.
Wow.
All right. Hey, see you guys. Thanks for
That's
sitting
tough.
down.
Thanks
I
so much,
appreciate it.
guys. Appreciate
Bye-bye.
it.
Bye.